Okay, quick product review from me this week. Been asked to do this from a friend of mine called James Brown. He runs a local photography business called dslrlearning.co.uk. I'll put a link below to his website. He runs also a couple of Facebook groups, DSLR Guru and a VIP version of that. And effectively he sort of teaches photography at all levels. And I went on one of his courses a few years ago and learnt quite a bit, and have been a member for that group for quite some time. So anyway, he ran a competition earlier in the year to win a load of these things. They're called universal lens caps from a company called KUVRD, I think it's meant to be, KUVRD. And I entered the competition and I won, which was great. So he sent me through, I think I got about 8 or 10 of these, which came across from the States. The business itself that sells this is based in the States. And effectively what they are is a flexible lens cap meant to be completely waterproof, completely dustproof, and to fit any lens, as it says in the name, really, universal lens cap. So I thought I'd do a quick review just to let you know how I've been getting on with these products, because I've been actually using them now for a good 3 or 4 months. I've given them a good test. So yeah, I thought I'd do a quick review and let you know what I think of them. So actually there's a little bit of a backstory as to why these lens caps are so useful for me actually, and so apt. I had a holiday in Cornwall earlier in the year, had a really great time with the family, got out and took some great shots. I was up one morning really early, went down to a place called Crackington Haven, which is near Bude, lovely part of the world, and was there on the beach, setting up, taking shots, camera bag set up behind me on a rock, nice and safe I thought. And then one of those freak waves came in while I had camera on tripod and went inside the bag, flooded the bag completely, and I had 2 lenses in there at the time. I had the old one of these, the 70-200, and my 24-70. Luckily this one was unaffected, it didn't really get too wet at all, but my old 24-70 got completely drenched. And because this version isn't water sealed, it ruined it effectively. So anyway, these things are meant to be waterproof. Now, whether they'd have saved the lens completely at the time if I'd have had them on, I don't know. But given that they protect the top of the lens and the bottom of the lens completely, and they are waterproof, you know, I haven't tested them, but you can tell that no water is going to get in there, certainly not a splash of water anyway. So if I had these on at the time, I think it would have saved me quite a bit of money. I was insured, so I got a new 70-200, and so I've got that new one now, but obviously at the time it was a nightmare. So I think these things are certainly something to consider if you are out and about doing stuff on the beach, or obviously in the rain or anywhere where your lenses could get wet. So yeah, what do I think to them? Well, they are pretty good, to be fair. They are very flexible. You can see here I've got one either end of my 70-200, one either end of my 24-70, and you can see on that it actually nearly covers the whole lens completely. There's just a gap in the middle, and I probably could stretch it if I wanted to get it to completely cover. And then I always have one on the front of the lens on the camera. This is my 16-35, I've got one on the front of that. Now, the thing I like about these is they are really flexible, and obviously, you know, your traditional lens caps that you have on the front of the camera, if you're carrying your camera around on your shoulder, or you had it on a tripod, you're carrying it around, it can easily get flicked off. They can flick off quite easily. And I tend to just lose these things. I can never find the right one for the lens I'm using. So the thing I love about this is they just come off and on really easily. You know, they pop off and then just stretch it, and it just goes all the way back on really easily. And I carry my lenses in my bag now with these all the way on, because, you know, they say they're shock absorbent as well. So you've got lenses there in your bag either way round. If you've got anything on top of them, it's going to protect it, obviously. But I also just feel a lot more comfortable that my lenses are properly protected within the bag. Bag on the shoulder, bag down, you know, it does get banged about a bit. So it's they are very good in terms of protecting the end of the lens. So they're not cheap, to be fair. So as I say, they come from a company in the States, and you have to order them. I think you can buy them on Amazon, but they're quite expensive. They're about 40 quid each on Amazon. If you buy them from a company in the States, I think they're about $80 for 4, so still not cheap. But they're very versatile in terms of being able to come on and off whichever lens you've got. They do work with a lens cap, a lens hood as well. So if you've got a lens hood, you can put a lens hood on your lens, and also just put that on there. Take this, and then you can see it does go. Yeah, it doesn't look pretty, but it fits over. And if you do want to keep a lens hood on and have one of these, you could do. I don't think it'll really fit one of the big ones. I could probably try it, but I might rip it. That is one thing that I have read reviews on these things, that they do say that they could rip easily. Now, I haven't found that so far. I haven't got many nails because I bite them, as many blokes do. So I haven't really come across any problems with them ripping or tearing. But it is something that I think if you stretch them too far, they probably would rip and tear, which at that price you don't really want to happen. But the other great thing I like about these in particular is I use a filter system from Nissi, and each of my lens has got a filter ring on the lens. And when you've got a traditional lens cap on your lens, obviously it'll only fit on the lens itself. If you've got a filter ring fitted, it won't fit on top of the filter ring either. It just obviously doesn't fit because you've got a filter ring there. But the great thing I like about these is you can keep your lens, your filter ring on each of your lenses all the time, and then just simply take off and on your lens cap. So you don't have to keep worrying about trying to find your filter rings, which filter ring goes with which lens. So that's a real benefit that I've seen with these things, is that you know, that stops me having to worry about that, and I can then keep my filter rings on my lenses all the time. So that's good. So yeah, I think they're pretty good. Definitely from my experience in the field, they haven't you know, not letting any dust or dirt or water or anything like that as far as in the time I've had them so far. And they're really easy to use. You know, as I say, they just come on and off really easily. You can put them on the top or the bottom. Yeah, good product. As I say, not a cheap product, if I'm honest, but a good product. And if you are sort of fed up with losing these things and you want something a bit more sturdy and you want something to protect your lenses, then I would certainly recommend them. So yeah, that's the KUVRD universal lens cap. Good product, and as I say, I think I would recommend it if it is something you're looking out for to protect your lens. So hope you've enjoyed that, hope it's been useful, and as always, like and comment on the channel, love that, and subscribe for more of my landscape journeys in the future. See you soon.